Hello, AP. I'm going to take a minute and talk to you about your art history exam, which will also go over our content test that we have in here, because the two of them are tied together and linked together. I want to talk to you about the AP art exam as early as September because I do spend the entire year preparing you for that. And to do that, it's not just about learning the material that you need, to be knowledgeable about, but it's about really understanding the test, how the test is designed, what is the language and the verbiage of the test, and how do we decode it. We do that all year long so that when you go into that exam, you feel confident because you feel like you're comfortable with it. You recognize the test a little bit. So that's what this screencast is about. So starting with just, the AP exam in May, that big exam that's going to get you some college credit. The first part of the exam is the multiple choice section. You will see 80 questions, and it is a 1-hour exam, and it's worth 50% of your overall score. Of those 80 questions, they're split in half. 40 of those questions will be in sets from either 3 to 6 questions. And what they'll have is an image there, and they'll ask you 3 to 6 questions based on that particular image or work of art. The other 40 are just kind of individual, isolated, multiple choice questions. Sometimes they'll have a color image that goes with it, but sometimes it's not necessary. The 80 questions that you will have for multiple choice, a few of them are outside of our 250 image set. So those are those appropriation questions that I kind of introduced to you during the elements and principles test that we will integrate throughout the year. We'll apply some of the knowledge we've learned to images outside of our image set. Then there's the free response section of the AP exam. So you have multiple choice and free response. The free response section has 6 questions. 2 of the questions are long essay, and the remaining 4 are short essay. You get 2 hours for this portion of the exam, and it is also worth 50% of your overall exam score. I have broken down the questions in terms of theme. I mean, I really try my best to hide nothing from you. I want you to know everything to expect. The only thing that's really left a mystery is what are the questions they're going to ask about which artworks. Okay, that's just, what we have to wait and see about. But the format of the test, that will not change. So essay question number one is a long essay, and it is a comparison long essay question. It is designed to assess your ability to compare the artwork that they've given you, okay, with artwork that you choose. Now, when you choose it, they usually give you 3 suggestions. So they will say, compare this artwork that we're providing you. Here are 3 suggestions to compare it with. But if you want to go outside of those 3 suggestions, you may, but they will probably give you a time period that you have to stay within. And you have to be sure that you stay within that time period, because if you go outside of it, then that entire essay question will not be worth any points at all. Okay, so you got to be very careful there. I always suggest if you can talk about one of the 3 suggestions they give you, do it, go for it. But if you're really stumped and the 3 suggestions that they give you are just nothing you feel strong about, well, then you can go ahead and go elsewhere. But again, you got to make sure you're fitting their rules and parameters, okay? And basically, it's comparison. So they're going to want you to compare and contrast. They're going to ask you for similarities and differences, but it will be like about a different theme. They're not just going to ask you generally compare contrast. They're going to say, okay, in regards to um, religious Buddhist art and the symbolism in Buddhist art. Give me one similarity and one difference. So they're going to kind of give you a focus when you are comparing and contrasting. Okay, question number 2 is also a long essay, but this one is about visual and contextual analysis. This is going to assess your ability to analyze visual and contextual features in a work of art. But the image for this one will not be provided. You will have to respond to the prompt and write a defensible claim and support it by evidence. So basically, visual and contextual analysis is going to be that you're talking about what type of evidence you see in the artwork. So that's going to be a lot of form stuff, elements and principles, and how that is evidence to explain contextual information about the art piece. That's kind of the theme of that long essay. Okay. The rest of the essays are the short essays. For your long essays, you get 30 minutes per essay. Okay, so that's 1 hour. And then the remaining essays, you get 15 minutes per essay, and that's the other hour. Okay, so question number 3 is a short essay question, and it is about visual analysis, and it's about your ability to analyze visual elements in a work of art beyond the image set. And this is, how can you connect to tradition and style and practice? How can you, again, analyze it formally and visually, looking at elements, looking at principles, and come to conclusions about that art piece? Question number 4 is short essay, and this is all about contextual analysis. So how can you analyze contextual elements of a work of art, and how does it influence artistic decisions? So this is going to be driven more by the history of the artwork or the culture of the artwork, and how does that drive people to make the artwork that they make? How does religious influence and belief lead people and artists to make the artwork that they make? So that's kind of the angle for that question. Question number 5 is an attribution short essay question. So basically, they want to see if you can use your skills and your knowledge about visual analysis on a piece of artwork that's not covered in our 250. Okay? Question 6 is about continuity and change. So it's a short essay, but they want to see if you can talk and discuss about relationships between a work of art and the traditions of that work of art, and how those traditions either stay intact or how they change. So kind of like if you think about the ethnographing that we've talked about, how think specifically about the pottery shards of the Lapita people, and how we discussed that these, prehistoric works of art, these pottery shards, have these patterns that were designed by this, tribe of people, and that this style of art of dots and dashes is still intact today in their contemporary society. So that's showing a tradition, that a style has remained the same for all of these years and all of these generations. But at the same time, how has it also changed? How has it developed? And we talked about within that slide of the Lapita people, how you will find those same styles of repeated patterns, but maybe now more like in the tattooing of the Lapita people. So that's an example of how to talk about art and how the traditions have stayed intact, maybe changed a little bit. Okay. All of those questions 1 through 6 will include images, or I'm sorry, not all questions 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will include an image of a work of art. That second essay question, you will not have an image. Okay, they will just kind of ask you a question and you will have to address it. Now, how does this test relate to our content tests in class? Well, it's because from content tests, the first one to the last one, I will mimic the exam format. So it will be composed, your content test this week will be composed of some multiple choice and an essay. I will alternate the essay questions so that, we're practicing all of them, we're being exposed to all of them, and you're getting a chance to practice all of them, okay? All of the questions on the content test, the multiple choice and the essay, are from past AP exams. So they release old exams. I take those questions, I sort them by content area, and those are the questions that are on the content tests. I do not want you to get used to any other language or way of talking about art except for AP. I don't want to make up my own questions because I don't want you to become accustomed to the way that I pose a question or the language and the verbiage that I use. I want you to become familiar with AP, so I only use their questions. AP definitely has a style of asking questions, and you're going to pick up on that style. You're going to pick up on little things that they like to ask. For example, on multiple choice, they like for you to do a lot of deductive reasoning. So they, instead of asking which one is the answer, they are known for asking which one is not the answer. So those little shifts and characteristics in question asking, I want you to be familiar with. It usually takes 2 class periods to get through a test. We usually split it up, multiple choice one day, essay the next, especially with these short 35-minute class periods. We will need more than one. When you do your essay portion of your content test, I will time you because I want to simulate that. When we're doing a short essay, you will get 15 minutes. You will start it at the same time. I will tell you ready, set, go, and then I will set a timer for when time is up. And when time is up, you need to put your pencils down. I want you to get accustomed, okay? I try my best to simulate the exam as much as possible, but the good news is that our content tests are graded on the AP curve, okay? If they were just graded according to Mount Vernon Township High School grading policy, you would all be very saddened because you would not do well. But I do grade it on the AP curve. Why not? If I'm preparing you for the AP test, I'm going to grade you the way AP would grade you. So it really does help your grade quite a bit. The other thing that I do to help your grade quite a bit is I give you a lot of those easy A pluses throughout the year. Your graphic notes, right? You do them, you get those 30 points. It's like I try my hardest to help you compile a bunch of A pluses because your first couple content exams are probably not going to be anything to brag about. You have to get used to it. You're going to get better at it. They're going to become easier. You're going to find that some content areas were easy for you. Some content areas were difficult for you. It could just be based off of your interest or what was going on in your life at that time. It could also be that, we have content areas that are kind of short and sweet, and then we have content areas that feel like they go on forever. And it's just a lot of information. So there's variations in that, which is why I help you buffer up your grade throughout the entire year. So I've just given you some examples of questions just so you can understand what I'm talking about. You can see what to kind of expect this week on our content test. But here's an example of multiple choice. Remember I said that sometimes they will provide you with an image and then they'll have a series of questions that go with that image. So for example, it says questions 6 through 8 refer to the following image. Well, there's the image, okay? And then they ask you 3 questions about that image. That's a typical multiple choice scenario. Okay, example of a short essay question. This one is about traditions. Remember those traditions that change over time or traditions that stay intact. So it's showing you 2 images. AP likes to start you off in the essays by kind of giving you the premise of the essay, what they want you to focus on. So it says, the work on the left is the frontispiece of the Codex Mendoza, circa 1542. It's pigment on paper. And the work on the right is one page from the Golden Haggadah from circa 1320. It is pigment on vellum. Both works show how different cultural traditions can be seen in a single work of art. Okay, so it's giving you the focus. Here's the focus of this question. Then it tells you what to do. Here's what it wants you, what AP wants you to write about, okay, is the rest of it. What I have for you as an exercise, as an assignment, as an exercise, is on the next slide. It says short essay activity. What I want you guys to practice is decoding the question. I don't want you to answer the question. Obviously, we haven't covered that artwork, but I would honestly say 85% of the time when a student doesn't feel successful about their free response answer, it is because they had a hard time understanding the question. They had a hard time knowing for sure and confidently what AP was asking of them. And so if we can get good at decoding the questions and understanding that language, then answering the question is not the problem. That's not going to be hard. So I have some prompts up here for you as a way to decode the question. And I want you to you can write this out in your graphic notes if you like, or you can put it on a separate piece of paper. I will give you points for this as an assignment to turn in. Again, easy points where you can just kind of buffer your grade a little bit. But for example, number 1 says, what is the theme of the short essay? What is AP telling you up front about these 2 artworks and what we are going to focus on for this particular essay? So going back, you'll look for that and try to answer it. I don't want long answers, guys. I just quick little phrases, to answer each question. But again, this is going to help you pick it apart and really understand what AP is asking of you. Okay. And then I have an example long essay. This is the comparison essay where they provide you with an image and then they ask you to compare it with another artwork. I'm going to go ahead and X out that area so you can see better. But this is how it looks. They will first kind of tell you about the theme of the essay, and then they start giving you directions. It says select and completely identify another work depicting a ruler in which iconography communicates ideals of political power and authority. Then it says you may select from the list below or any other relevant work. So here at the very bottom, they've given you 3 options because they think that they would be good artworks to do a comparison essay with. But if you feel like you don't know enough about those 3 to make a really strong essay, you can choose your own. So you got to be careful. You got to look to see if they're giving you any parameters. And then after that, you need to just go ahead and start reading the questions and the things that AP wants you to discuss. And then I also have that long essay activity here where I'm prompting you to decode and pull out the information that AP is embedded into that essay question. So number 1 says, AP told you about a theme for the Prima Porta statue that they provided. What is the focus or theme? Okay, so you go back to that question, try to figure that out and answer it. Okay, and again, you can put these in your graphic notes, separate piece of paper, I don't care, photograph it, turn it in, and I feel like that will best prepare you for how the exam is formatted, but also your content test coming up. Aside from this, you really need to work on studying. You need to review your notes, all of your images for global prehistory. So that is prehistoric, that is Paleolithic, that is Neolithic, Stonehenge. I mean, that whole content area. Try to know identifying information. You don't need to know it like crazy, okay? But at least know titles, at least know places and kind of a time period. You don't need to be exact. AP's happy if you can get it close, okay? But also try to remember, the important points and bits of information about each artwork. So good luck. I hope this helps. If you have questions, you can email me at any time.